Registration is open for the Hamside workshop.
Yes. Don't forget to register. I'll have to listen for the test signal if it's back.
Yeah, we got it back on a couple days ago.
Who was it that was in touch with Matt about
I
that?
did.
Matt. Oh, thanks.
I got a hold of him.
Thanks, Dave.
Turned out it was a timecode generator that had failed.
I'll make a comment on that. The time code generator is the Keysight device that is also at Hawaii, and it's it's a fairly expensive signal generator, and that has, I didn't realize it, but it's not recorded. It's every time that plays, it's the Keysight being recoded and going through the coding to regenerate that signal every single time, and it ran for over 3.5 years without ever failing. And I was absolutely amazed that it made it that long. So I think the fact that it failed and they got it right back up, it's interesting. And also the comments from the operators at WWV, when they originally set that thing up, they thought, oh, we're setting this up for 2 or 3 weeks. And so I haven't actually seen the setup, but I think there's wires everywhere. It's not set up as something that would sit on the desk for 3.5 years. It was set up for something for about 2 weeks. And so it actually, I'm curious if they took advantage of the fact that it was off and maybe rearranged it a little bit better on the desk. So I'm glad it's back up.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be changing that soon to the costless array stuff.
And Bill Lyles is working on getting a recording. He's working with Rob Robinette on that. And so they're using the 888 that I've got a few miles away from WWV. And they're going to start trying to redo the recordings, which I think is something should have been done or we should definitely do before we take it off the air. So.
Okay. Any other announcements? And does anyone have any business stuff that they'd like to add to the agenda?
I'll just mention regarding the modulation, I noticed that Christina was thinking of convening a meeting on that, the modulation changes. So if anyone's interested in that, stay tuned.
You know when she's talking about doing that, dude?
She didn't say, but she just recognized
It
it.
should be soon because we're honing in on, we've got a senior project that's actually doing some research that's actually going to be presented at Hamside with the costless array usage, since it's the new technique we're looking at. So it's going to give us more information.
And actually another announcement that's tangentially related. I have on Wednesdays at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, I have a telecon where I meet with Steve Serwin working on the HFTDOA project. And next week, we're going to be having a guest, John Swoboda, who's the research scientist engineer up at MIT Haystack. He's going to be coming in to talk with Steve about possible other waveforms to use besides chirps. I know, of course, costless arrays are one option, but if anyone's interested in also joining in on that telecon, we'd be happy to have you. Just send me an email or a message in the chat, and I can send you a link to next week's telecon.
Okay.
And that's 3:30 p.m. Eastern.
Oh. All right. Okay. I'm also just going to go out on a limb and assume that there's no updates on the new scope. And
Yeah, I can say that regarding the newsletter, there is a new one in progress. So Ed just sent me the new copy on that, and I'm supposed to write maybe 2 paragraphs to add to it today, and then hopefully we'll get it off to layout in the next day or so. So hopefully by the Hamstar workshop we'll have a new newsletter.
yeah, I may move this to somewhere more pertinent then,
Sounds good.
or a little bit into the more backlog section. All right. Since it's not a foreseeable future kind of thing. Is Kong on today?
Yes, I am.
Have any updates?
I do. So I got the it's always talking to Big Angle Key. Because last time I sent him my conversion code from CSV to DRF. So he sent me back the updated code that ensure that this code works perfectly fine on the server. So I'm gonna incorporate that to my current version, because I'm also updating the code to improve it for testability, because now there's no systematic way to actually to test that the conversion how would you say it, is perfect. Basically, the only way that I've been doing testing is convert it to DRF and then plot the diagram, plot the spectrogram, and look at that and then say, oh, okay, this signal looks normal, so the conversion was probably fine. But now I would like to add some code to actually perform the test within the code itself and comparing different values. So I have like a numeric way of testing my design, and also for future maintainability as well, because previously the code that was sent to Angle Key was rather monolithic design. So now I'm gonna partition it up and try to apply some object-oriented programming to it, so that in the future any changes wouldn't require a significant amount of time. And besides that, I also would like to discuss the idea that was brought up last Telecon. It was the idea that instead of uploading the important data from the important dates before doing the drive swap, instead of doing that, we could use a thumb drive and put the important data on those drive and ship those back to Alabama. I don't have any preference for either one. I just want to make sure that which path are we gonna take.
I don't particularly have a preference either. My only comment is that I know one of the reasons that we were uploading versus using the jump drives was in case the discs got lost in the mail or something like that. So I don't know if with the jump drives, if you want to tell the people, mail it separately, or if you want to just say, hang on to this in case there's a problem, copy the files over and then, just put it somewhere safe. That way there's another copy of it. But I think that might, if you do that sort of thing, it might fulfill that requirement of trying to have a duplicate that doesn't get lost in the mail.
Yeah, I agree with that. And another thing to keep in mind, something else to keep in mind is that the reason why I guess you want to do the thumb drive, I guess it would be a quicker, a simpler process, I guess, of swapping, of getting the data to the Alabama server. But on the software side of thing, the other alternative of uploading the data through software, that process would have to be configured eventually, regardless. So if you go to the thumb drive path, that would only mean that I would just have to I have the chance to delay that process, but that process must happen regardless.
I agree with that. I don't have strong opinions. I do, I agree that we do have to get that other code implemented to get things uploading to Bill's server, but
One thing you have to realize is if we do the jump drive path, it's 10.4 gigabytes of data per day.
Mhm.
So with a 32 gig jump drive, you get 3 days.
If you do bzip it, it will significantly compress it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. It goes down to about 3 to 4 gigabytes. So for 10 days, it should be 40 gigabytes maximum. It shouldn't be too bad.
So we're talking at least a 64 gig drive then.
Yeah.
Which these days is not terribly expensive. You can get 128 gigabyte drives in bulk for relatively little money. Just watch out for the terabyte drives for $10. Those are the ones you gotta be like, there's something fishy going on here.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
So do we know when we will have a decision made on this?
Kung, what's your recommendation? You're the one who's actually writing this code and managing this. So what to do?
From my perspective, I would prefer the thumb drive because that I would have some extra time to refine the code a little more.
Mhm.
But that's the only reason. Otherwise, I don't have any other.
Have we defined the specific dates that we want to copy?
Yeah, we did. Let's see.
Could you send me that list so I at least know what we're looking at?
I can. Better find that roadmap again. Yeah, I will send it to you later. So it's about 10
Okay.
days. So the day before and the day of the eclipse and the day before and after, and also the days surrounding the Gannon storm.
Sure.
That's for a total of 10 days.
And I told Kung that if you need to reduce the number of days, we can prioritize that. So the eclipse first, and then the Gannon storm. And then if you need to, reduce the number of days around the Gannon storm, that's a possibility too. But I think if you do what we have written there, that would be ideal.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
Rachel,
John?
I do have a couple of updates on regarding the importation of data when it's my turn.
Okay. John, any updates on formatting?
Formatting's not the problem. I'm still fighting with, well, not fighting, I'm still trying to establish the shipping container. I went up to FedEx yesterday morning and talked with the guy, and the boxes had not come in. The particular shipping container we're looking at is for transporting a cell phone, and it's allowing a 8-inch by 5-inch by 3-inch volume, which should fit the drive nicely. And we'll have to see if we have to pack it with extra foam if it's loose. Then, of course, we'll have to get the jump drives, it looks like now. I'll probably work with Salisa on that. Have not seen the boxes yet. He's pushing another store to send them to him, and then we have to order them. The drive formatting I haven't started yet because it's going to go pretty quick. I've been working with Bill Blackwell, and he's got a script that does some of that, but I will be doing the formatting. And it's really nothing more than getting in the F disk and doing a couple of things, and then doing a make file system with ext4 with the label on it. So it's pretty straightforward. So that's really not the limiting factor. It's really the shipping and getting the labels and the jump drives and getting all the drives labeled because I have to make stickers for the old and the new drives. So if they're out of the box, Bill can identify them because we don't need to get that all confused. He doesn't want to have to plug them in to figure out what they are. I wouldn't do that to you, Bill.
Well, remember that naming convention we came up with about years ago?
Mm-hmm.
It's working so well that I've found that I can just dump the entire content of everything I have into a single giant directory and just process according to the node numbers that is embedded in the file name.
Hooray, my algorithm worked.
Yeah, that was the best decision we ever made to do that. And so it's pretty nice, actually. I have software that would just go down through that directory, look to see, is this one already in the catalog? Check it against the database. If it is, just go to the next one. If it's not, then import that one. And yeah, it makes it good for automation. So I mean, it's going to take a long time because it takes about 10 seconds to catalog each one. Now I can run 2 or 3 of them at the same time, so that helps. And I'm putting the pressure on OIT. Well, okay, they handed off the project. They said it's too big for us. We're handing it off to the University Research Computing Team, which is kind of like just been formed. I'm going to have to really start twisting the knife somewhere to get the new server. But I want a server with a ton of memory and a ton of cores to do all this in a reasonable amount of time. So it's coming along. So I do need to get with, I want to get with Bill Blackwell. Bill, are you on the call? I haven't seen Bill.
No, he's not on this call today. He had a appointment he had to be at this morning.
Okay. All right. Well, I will email him. I have a draft procedure on how to update a Grape One legacy system to upload to the UA server. And I want to get with him, go through the procedure step by step and test it on his equipment. And then we'll be able to start rolling out getting uploads to the personal space weather station network from the Grape One legacy. And are we still running Grape 2s to produce the FLDigi CSV output?
Yes.
Okay. I'm still working on an inbounding procedure for those, but I'm going to have to treat on those. I'm going to have to treat the 3 different frequencies as 3 separate observations.
And that's the way they're uploaded. So
yeah. So
it's really no difference for you other than the fact there's 3 in one location.
Yeah, right. And that should be fine. Should be.
That was intentional.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible to jam them all into a single CSV file, but
you have to separate them out anyway. I mean, it doesn't make any sense because they're different frequencies, so that didn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can do it like the RX 888, where they're all jammed into a single file, basically with subchannels, and there's some advantages to handling less files, but the computer will handle it either way. So.
Yeah, I just wanted to keep it simple, less easy to break.
Yeah. Anyway, so I do have the inbounding procedure for the legacy stuff to the point where it's mostly automated, and I'm inbounding all of the Grape One legacy stuff now. And as I mentioned, I will see if I can get with Bill Blackwell to finalize the procedure for updating a Grape One legacy system and a Grape 2 system to upload to the personal space weather station network. So we're trying to get that going fairly soon.
That should be very simple because it's just one script that does that.
Right.
So just change the script and you're done.
Right. It just involves installing LFTP on those systems, but that's a single command. Unless something is really off, that's no problem for a user to do. So, And I don't know if we mentioned this before, but the university has given me a little office for this that I can lock to lock up the drives and all of that. So we shall see. It's gonna be fun.
I have a question actually for Bill and Cookie.
Yeah.
So this upload script, it does require each user to manually input a token right into the configuration, I believe.
Yes.
I assume that you already have all of this string generated, I assume. Each token for each node, I mean.
It's hard for me to understand what you're saying, but if the question is, are the tokens generated? Yes, they are.
Oh, okay.
I have gone through and created stations and instruments for all the Grape 1 legacy systems, and I'm in the process right now of adding those for the Grape 2 systems. And so in the case where there was not already an account, there was an account that was created using whatever we have on file as that person's email address. So if they want to get into it, all I have to do, well, I will have to email them to tell them what their user ID is, because the user ID is not the email address. But anyway, in 99% of the cases, it's the person's call sign. And so they just have to go in and go through and do a password reset, and then they have access to their account.
Yeah, right. Sounds good. Something else I want to mention as well to you, Bill. There's an addition to the code, because initially for the Grip 1 system, there is only one overarching set of metadata for the entire day. But for the Grip 2 data, we have metadata for every second. A lot of it is repeated, but I do want to keep the metadata, anything that is changed for each of the second. So it will increase the total size of each resulting DGRF format a little bit, but it will be a different value.
Well, now, what do you anticipate is going to change? Because the data that I recall that's in the metadata is what frequencies are the subchannels are, and the latitude and longitude and elevation and something like those kind of things.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of information in there. John Gibbons would know a lot more about what's in the header of each of the
Yeah, that's all
metadata.
spelled out in my the document I created for all of this stuff. I can send you that again, Bill, if you want to see it.
Well, no, I thought Con was talking about the metadata in the digital RF data set, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yes, that is the same metadata. So when I convert the CSV to digital RF, I preserve whatever metadata was stored in those CSV in the digital RF. So all those information, such as like software version, ADD 0 calibration data, all of that is preserved. And for the Grip2 data, each second also has information about the GPS lock for that specific data block. So I will preserve that information as well for each second. Information such as software version that is shared across the entire day, but the GPS lock information that is different for each second. So what is repeated, I would just have it at the start of that hour. But for data that is not metadata that is not repeated, I would just have it specifically for each of the second. Yeah. So it would not break whatever plotting code we have right now, because the plotting code right now is only considering the initial very first second of the day and just grab its metadata. But in the future, in case we need to basically verify, I guess, the validity of the data block that we're looking at, the researcher would have the ability to do that because it was on in a CSV. I don't want to lose all of that information. That's valuable information in the future.
I wonder if we could use that to somehow infer total electron count. That's a discussion for another day, I think. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Okay. Bill, any further updates?
I think you have from me what I had to report.
Perfect. Is Rob on today? Or Mike or anyone from the
I'm here this week. Let's see. I don't think there's been anything really to be remarked about the antenna project. I think we've got Michael has been doing some experiments with the single antenna systems, and uh, I think there are some very subtle problems that could occur uh, that I think he's learning about. These I think apply to whatever the antenna system might be. There are. I think that right now we're in the stage of mostly learning about how to diagnose the site. So beyond that, I think there's the kits are. I think we have kits. I think they're about to. I think Michael and Dave are going to go install systems up at Dave's remote farm in northern Missouri. I think that's the next action there. And then they're setting up for a demonstration on having a table showing the whole system, including the DX engineering and a single antenna at the Hamsci convention. So you'll see what we've been talking about. That's about it, I think. Oh, okay.
Okay. And I know that there's an update on the Whisper grapes.
Well, of course, we have the one down at DP0 that's running. So it's, as far as I know, if somebody looks for I have set it up so if it doesn't report, I should get an email, and I haven't gotten an email from PSWS uh, telling me that the data is missing. So I think it's there.
Okay. There was a picture in the email. I might go look for it.
A popsicle, I like that.
Okay. Any other business or discussion? Okay.
One thing, I don't know if this is a thing. We do have we have been doing. Bill Wiles has been doing some work with the WWV receive site. So that's been upgraded to record float samples. So we're going to increase the size of we're going to put an external hard disk on it. So there'll be months of 16 kilosample IQ recordings uh, of WWV from that site, which is what is it, 6 kilometers from the transmit towers.
I'm gonna put that on tomorrow.
Oh,
I saw yours.
I just
Yeah.
thought of something. I was reminded of something by seeing the picture of the German Antarctica station. I'm talking to a fellow who has contacts at the Belgian Antarctica station, and they are interested in putting one of our SDR systems into the Belgian Antarctic station in case anybody feels like that's a good idea. We probably can do that.
It's not, as long as there's remote access, it's easy to do. It'd be who you should put them in contact. We just have to get them the hardware. Um, I don't know that this is in the Hamsci budget, but um,
This is for which station is putting Belgian at? Yes, there is an interest in putting a grape, Whisper Demon grape at the Belgian Antarctic station. Um please send me their information. We actually have a separate pot of money from Daisy 2 to deploy things in Antarctica. And talking with Hyomin, he's in support of collaborating with other both he and the NSF, from what we've been told, are in support of collaborating with other countries and getting these things distributed. So yes, I believe it's likely that we could fund that.
Yes, this is Dr. Tobias Verhulst with the Royal Meteorological Institute of Belgium, and they have money. So they said he was interested in building a system himself, but
Yeah.
either
I
way,
mean, if they have their own funding that and we just provide the plans, absolutely, that's the easiest. No question about it.
yeah,
If if um if they don't have funding for it, we probably can justify it. But certainly if they have their own funding and they are able to put it up, 100% full speed ahead, you know.
yeah.
Let's
Well, I'll do this. I will forward you his contact information this morning, and then you can contact him and take it from there.
Sounds great. I mean, yeah, if he's willing to fund it, he can just work directly with Rob and the information that we have on the website, kind of like they did with the British, or I'm sorry, the German station. You know, they don't have to go through me. So
you
Yeah,
know what the greatest problem would be? It's incredibly hard to import stuff into ship things into Belgium.
mm,
I mean, literally, I sent a little $1 cable
mhm.
to Uli for a Christmas gift, and it took weeks to get through customs, and I
right.
had to email their customs in order to tell them this is a Christmas gift. This is a $1 Christmas gift.
Wow.
Finally, they released it. So that's actually maybe the biggest challenge is,
Yeah.
in fact, in general for Europeans, um, even without current, you know, uh, actions of our government, uh, exporting to European countries is extremely hard.
Yes.
Uh, and it can be hard for them to obtain uh, parts from China. So we may want, if we want to work internationally or with Europeans, we may want to kind of trying to recruit someone to act as our, Tapper-like, source of hardware, specialized hardware there, and best, work out a channel that they can obtain it. For example, the B-Links, which we pay, $280 for, costs them, I don't know, 500 or 600 euros from
Yeah.
Amazon in Europe. So, that's it's there's all kinds of impediments that were pre-existing impediments to this get moving equipment around the world.
Yeah.
Well, they're interested in doing this because there is a couple of upcoming eclipses that they'll be able to see from those areas, and they want to. Anyway, I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Anyway, we'll
Good, it's great.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Oh, we have a question in the chat.
Hi guys, yeah, I'm just wondering what the name of the Belgian station in question is, if you have it, just because I'd like to see where the geomagnetic conjugates for these are.
Princess Elizabeth.
Thank you.
It's over on the same side as the German and Valley Bay and such. Yeah, as we were discussing on the Antarctic meeting, that's over in the active auroral zone magnetically, whereas McMurdo and South Pole are in the cap, and Jangbogo also, or polar cap.
Yeah, it's conjugate, which of course will shift around, is mostly in the North Atlantic, like kind of between Greenland and North America, but that you could absolutely get some interesting conjugate observations between that location and locations that are populated here. So there might be some interesting campaign things that we could do at some point, although we probably won't know about them till after. All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? QCC, if you will.
Were the was the Belgian Institute, were they interested in doing whisper sonde or just receiver?
We didn't get that, didn't get into that level of detail. Anyway, Dave, thanks for working on getting that data uploaded. I will process, I'll start working with that later today.
Yeah, let me know if we're missing anything.
Okay.
I have one more question for Briangoki, if I could.
Sure.
Um, so the directory name for each observation on the Alabama server, the convention for it is OBS for observation and followed by a date. Could I possibly extend that name to also include note number? Would that cause any problem?
To include what again, please?
Note number. The note number, so like the
I can't tell you right off the top of my head whether we can do that or not.
okay.
What you asked for seems like a good idea, but actually, let me suggest this. Send me an email with a proposed update to the spec on the naming convention for that. Let me run a few tests to see what is, I might have to change some software that looks for things today, but or maybe not, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send you an email. It should, I'm not trying to change too much about it. It's just so the current convention and then an underscore and then just the note number. Besides that, nothing else. Yeah. All right, I'll put that in an email and send it to you. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns, business discussion? All right. I believe we are done for the day then. 73, everyone.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, everyone. 7-3.
7-3.
7-3.
73.